Remember that weird era when our parents bought magnetic bracelets from TV shopping channels to fix their blood pressure? Or those chain emails that threatened you with 7 years of bad luck if you didn't forward them to 10 friends? Back then, we, the digital natives, thought that was just a boomer thing. We laughed at the naivety. We thought, well, our generation, raised on the internet, will never fall for that. And yet, look at us now. The same people who mock TV psychics are now mass ordering Palo Santo wood to clear their apartments of toxic vibrations. They blame Mercury retrograde for missing a deadline, and they unironically try to manifest money by breathing into the universe. Seriously, guys? We live in the age of neural networks, CRISPR gene editing, and quantum computing. Why are educated people with degrees and critical thinking skills voluntarily diving back into the Middle Ages just with better graphic design? Who's to blame? Stress, fashion, or is our brain just hardwired for fairy tales? Spoiler alert, it's all of the above. Today, we're going to deconstruct this phenomenon, break it down to the atom, and find out exactly when a harmless hobby turns into a life-threatening delusion. But first, let me show you some real magic that actually works. You smash that subscribe button and hit the bell, and poof, your IQ starts growing every week thanks to our new videos. No rituals required, just pure brain food. Thanks for being here. Now, look around. We are living in a surreal timeline. Artificial intelligence is writing college essays, doctors are 3D printing human joints, and Mars rovers are sending us high-def selfies. It looks like the triumph of reason. But right alongside that, hashtag witch talk has billions of views, with teenagers teaching each other how to hex their exes online. Big tech companies in Silicon Valley are hiring corporate shamans to boost team morale. Astrology apps are securing millions in venture capital, promising to calculate your compatibility with your boss based on star charts. How do these two worlds exist in the same head? At first glance, it looks like a hipster rebranding of old wives' tales. Instead of a witch with a wart and a dark tent, you have a stylish life coach on Instagram with a ring light. Instead of a rabbit's foot, you have aesthetic quartz crystals. The essence is the same, the packaging is just premium. Sure, we could blame late-stage capitalism for figuring out how to sell thin air. But the root of the problem is deeper. We fall for magic because of a bug, or maybe a feature, in our software. It's called magical thinking. Scientifically speaking, this is the belief that your thoughts, words, or symbolic actions can change physical reality without any direct causal link. Broke, it's not because the economy is in a recession, it's because your financial chakra is blocked. Just listen to these affirmations on YouTube, breathe correctly, and millions will drop into your bank account. Unlucky in love? And you just made your vision board wrong, you pasted the pictures in the wrong sector? Sounds like nonsense? But be honest, have you ever knocked on wood to avoid jinxing something or worn a lucky jersey to a game? That's it. That is magical thinking, and it affects everyone, from the janitor to the Nobel Prize winner. History is cyclical. There have always been people monetizing this glitch. Think of Franz Mesmer in the 18th century, convincing the Parisian elite he could cure them with animal magnetism just by waving his hands. By the way, to avoid ending up like those aristocrats Mesmer fooled, you need to understand how your biology actually works. Picture the typical modern city dweller. Let's call him Alex. He's 30. Deadlines are burning, his back aches from sitting at a desk for 10 hours, rent eats half his salary, and the future feels as foggy as a London morning. Anxiety is his baseline state. In this condition, rational advice like get 8 hours of sleep or exercise more sounds like a mockery. He has no energy for the long game, and then the algorithm feeds him a video. Just buy this rose quartz. It attracts love and heals back pain. Alex thinks, well, it can't hurt, it's just a rock. He buys it, puts it on his desk, and decides to believe. And lo and behold, the back pain subsides, the anxiety lifts. It's magic, Alex shouts. Actually, no. His back stopped hurting because he finally relaxed, the placebo effect, or maybe the ibuprofen he took earlier finally kicked in. But his brain has already built a false connection. Crystal equals health. Why are we so easily tricked? Blame apophenia. This is our brain's ability to find meaningful patterns in random data. Evolutionarily, this was vital. It's better to mistake the wind for a tiger and run away than to mistake a tiger for the wind and get eaten. We are the descendants of paranoid ancestors. But in the modern world, this setting glitches, and a study published in the European Journal of Social Psychology showed that people who are open to new experiences and creative thinking are more likely to see patterns where none exist. Their brain's alpha rhythms work differently. They don't filter out informational noise, they give it meaning. That's why creative types often believe they found a parking spot, because they asked the universe, not because someone just left. This is also where the Barnum effect kicks in, named after the showman P.T. Barnum. This is when you accept a vague general description as a highly accurate psychological portrait of yourself. Remember reading a horoscope? You are a person who values independence but craves affection. You have overcome hardships in the past and came out stronger. You read that and think, oh my God, that is so me. How do they know? The secret is, that's everyone. Literally everyone. The classic Bertram Forer experiment in 1948 proved this brilliantly. He gave students a personality test, then gave them all the exact same result text from a newspaper horoscope. The students rated the accuracy at 4.26 out of 5. Philosophers like Sartre or Heidegger might say we simply cannot handle the meaningless nature of existence. Humans are the only creatures that require an explanation. Why am I suffering? Why did this happen to me? The answer, it's just a coincidence, is unbearable to us. Without pattern recognition, apophenia, there would be no science. Newton seeing a connection between an apple and the moon, that's good apophenia. But that same brain function makes us believe a black cat crossing the street brings bad luck. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You see the cat, you get tense, you lose focus, you trip. Ah, I knew it. The pattern is reinforced. But it's not just psychology, there is hardware involved. Specifically the left lateral temporal lobe. It's responsible for interpreting signals from the outside world. When it's working normally, we see a coworker frowning and think, he's frowning because he's tired. If this area is disrupted by stress, magnetic fields, or fatigue, we might conclude he's frowning because I'm a Cancer and he's an Aries, and our auras are clashing. Neuroscientists have done experiments with transcranial magnetic stimulation. If you temporarily dampen this area, people stop seeing mystical signs in random images. Furthermore, there is a link between mysticism and dopamine. Hyperactive magical thinking often correlates with the schizotypal spectrum. Remember the genius mathematician John Nash from A Beautiful Mind? His ability to see complex mathematical connections and his hallucinations came from the same source, hyperactive pattern seeking. Genius and superstition are often neighbors in the apartment complex of our brain. But why now? Why in the 21st century? Sociologist Max Weber called scientific progress the disenchantment of the world. Science explained everything but made the world feel dry and cold. Science tells us how atoms work, but it doesn't tell us why we are here. Then comes esotericism and says, you aren't just biological matter. You are a star seed, like your soul chose this path, and the universe is watching over you. That feels good, like it makes you the main character again. Plus, it offers control. We've survived a pandemic, economic recessions, and geopolitical chaos. When you don't know if you'll have a job tomorrow, it's very soothing to think that tarot cards can predict the future. It lowers cortisol. The market reacts instantly. The global wellness and esoteric economy is worth trillions. People spend as much on astrologers as they do on coffee. History confirms this. Spikes in mysticism always go hand in hand with catastrophes. After WWI and the Spanish flu, the world was swept by a wave of spiritualism. Even the creator of Sherlock Holmes, the hyper-rational Arthur Conan Doyle, started attending seances to talk to ghosts because he had lost loved ones. During the Cold War, the CIA spent millions on Project Stargate, trying to use psychics for espionage. Fear makes us grab at straws. Why do we do it? Risk management theory. Better safe than sorry. If you knock on wood, you lose nothing. If you don't and something bad happens, you'll blame yourself. To the brain, performing a ritual is cheaper than dealing with the anxiety. Dual process theory, Daniel Kahneman. We have System 1, fast, intuitive, ancient, and System 2, slow, logical, energy expensive. Under stress, the brain shuts down the expensive System 2 and switches to the autopilot of System 1. And System 1 loves simple connections. Black cat equals bad, Mercury retrograde equals computer crash. Even a scientist exhausted after work can read a horoscope and nod along, and social media creates an echo chamber. If you see 50 videos a day claiming the universe is sending you signs, your critical defenses drop. The crazy becomes the norm. It seems harmless, right? Let people believe in fairies, who cares? The problem is magical thinking doesn't know when to stop. Threat 1. Money and gambling. Studies show a direct link between belief in superstition and gambling addiction. The gambler's fallacy is pure magic. Red came up 3 times, so black must be next, as people lose fortunes believing in their lucky streak. Threat 2. Mental health. Retreating into esotericism often masks real disorders. A person with depression or BPD goes to a chakra cleansing instead of a psychiatrist. Time is lost, the condition worsens. Threat 3. Rejection of medicine. Remember Belle Gibson, the Australian influencer who became a global star claiming she cured her brain cancer with whole foods and alternative therapies? She made hundreds of thousands of dollars, released an app, and signed book deals. Then it came out she never had cancer. But her followers, real cancer patients, believed her, stopped chemotherapy, and switched to smoothies. Many of them died. Or look at the breatharians who convince people they can live off sunlight and air. The result? Starvation and death. There are thousands of healers out there treating parasites with kerosene or exorcising entities with physical beatings. Magical thinking kills when it replaces evidence-based medicine. Being a muggle, an ordinary person who trusts science, is actually the safest choice right now. Yes, living in a world without magic is harder. No one guarantees that everything will be all right just because you're a good person. Bad things happen here for no reason, but accepting this reality gives you real power. The power to take responsibility rather than outsourcing it to the stars. If you are struggling, if anxiety is overwhelming, that is valid. But take your fears and your money to a therapist, not a fortune teller. And a therapist teaches you how to weather the storm inside. A fortune teller just sells you an umbrella full of holes. The world is amazing enough without magic. The fact that we exist at all on this rock, hurling through infinite space, is miracle enough. Turn on your critical thinking, and I'll see you in the next video.